Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel, and we talk about it in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place. We're so happy you decided to join us today, and today we've got to talk about a couple different news items. But all of these news items have one thing in common. Jason Blum was recently talking to Variety, and all of this stuff is the updates that he gave to various projects. So it's one of those times where we get to dive into more than one topic in our video. So let's jump right into it. All right, so in this interview, he talks about a couple different things. He talks about Saw, he talks about getting an IP to Nightmare on Elm Street or the Friday the 13th series. He talks about the future of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all this stuff that they're involved in or want to be involved in. So it's kind of one of those things. Also, there is a brief mention of M3gan in this as well. So we're getting a whole bunch of information from him regarding some upcoming projects and the future of whether or not Blumhouse will be involved in these projects. They talk about how they lost out rights on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this is what he has to say about it. We were in the mix. The deal isn't closed, but we probably won't get it. A24, the cool kids on the indie film company, won the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Bake-Off with a creative team led by Weapons producer Roy Lee and Glenn Powell. Mainly, Blum is bummed that he didn't have a chance to revitalize the franchise that had run out of gas. He said, "I like taking an IP that people are cynical about and turning expectations on their head." Now, I love this idea. I love the fact that he said this only because this is great. Anytime that you have somebody who's willing to take a project and turn it on its head, it's not a bad thing, as long as they do like the original project. And I say this all the time. If you get someone to write a project, they got to start off as fans. It never actually ends well when you get somebody that's in charge of the project and they're not fans of the project. So I'm kind of sad that they lost out, but A24 coming up and possibly doing this isn't the end of the world either. Now, Blumhouse isn't going to be doing too bad. They are going to have a coffee table book that comes out, and over the next few weeks, Blumhouse will release some highly anticipated sequels. The Five Nights at Freddy's sequel and the Black Phone sequel, which should pretty much be enough to get us excited about Blumhouse again, providing that these projects are actually good. These projects should be pretty good. Everybody sort of does like these projects. They seem to be fans of them, so it should be something that's pretty cool to look at. Now, it does go on to say that Blumhouse recently closed a deal to reboot Saw. The company also expanded its Scare Factory, merging with Atomic Monster, the producer of The Conjuring. So he goes on to talk about the Saw franchise because they ask him what the creative vision is there. And he says, "It's really hard to make 10 movies in a franchise. I don't take that away from the original series producers. I am grateful to them for allowing us to continue. My creative outlook that I always preach, get the people who made the magic in the first place more involved. James Wan, the original director, will be hugely involved, and that's how we're going to reinvent it." Now, that's pretty cool right there, because we've talked about this in the past. We've talked about how they're getting the original creator to maybe be involved. That's not a new thing that he said. That's always kind of been what he said. He's always been about the original creators being involved in a big way. And I appreciate that as an audience member. I appreciate that as a fan. I think that getting James Wan involved in this movie is going to help it out. Getting Saw to be reborn once again and getting it to actually make box office bank the way that last film did before all the creative issues kind of derailed our hopes for a sequel. That's going to be something that's going to be really exciting to see, and I can't wait for it. I am down for this 1,000%, and I can't wait to see how involved they get James Wan, how actually things go, because it's going to be amazing. Now, the next question was, are you done with Halloween? And he says, we don't own the rights anymore. I had a 3-picture deal, but I would do another Halloween movie. Here's the part that should get everybody excited. A couple things that he said that I feel are the main talking points of this. We definitely want to talk about the Saw because yes, that's great. But then he talks about whether or not he could get into another franchise. And they said, what is your white well in the genre space that you would like to make? And he says, Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger, those are my white wells. And they go on to say they're both locked up somewhere else, right? And he says, we're always haggling. I make a run at them every day. I will never give up the quest. And if they make one without me, I'll chase the next movie. Now, I love that statement. I love that statement as a fan. I love it for the company. Respect to Blumhouse for chasing down what they want. And the fact that he has said that he never stops chasing it, that he works at this every day, that's something that we as fans can be proud of. That's something that we as fans should admire, because this is someone who knows what they want to do, and whether or not they make this an amazing movie or not, they get this movie by haggling and fighting for it every day. Then they have earned that movie. And I hope they do great things with it. And my faith in them with Saw has risen up so much due to the fact that he actually has said that they want to get the main people involved. So if they're doing this and they can get the main people involved in these franchises, now granted you really can't do that with Nightmare on Elm Street, but you can sort of try to do that with Friday the 13th to some degree. When it comes to Nightmare on Elm Street, if you can get some of the more successful people that have worked on those Nightmare on Elm Street films, then you have a chance to make something really cool. You really do. Now, then he addressed M3gan, and they said, what about M3gan? Is she done? And he says, M3gan will ride again. I'll find a way. Now, let's talk a little bit about what that means, because M3gan 2.0, a lot of people really didn't like that movie. A lot of people did. I personally found it kind of cool. It wasn't as exciting as the first one for me because it was an action adventure film. It was more of a superhero type of thing. It was really just a completely different ball game than the original. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Definitely. I enjoyed it for what it was. But that being said, I really liked M3gan as a horror film. And the idea that they would go back to horror films with M3gan actually excites me more than the possibility of them doing this other movie. Now, as you know, they're going to be doing another movie, a spinoff of M3gan. That's going to be a whole nother thing. And I think that that's okay. They've acknowledged that M3gan has sort of been a mistake a bit in the past. They've actually said that they know and they understand that M3gan failed. They get it. But the thing of it is that now they have a way in. If they do get a way in, they're going to take it. Bring M3gan back into the horror film vibe that she had in the first movie, and I think you have a winner again. I think that people are there for it. The M3gan character, whether you like that second movie or not, was still iconic in that second movie. There was nothing wrong with M3gan's performance in the movie. There was nothing wrong with the actress that voiced M3gan. She did a wonderful job at still conveying the same personality and the same fun that M3gan had in the first film. The only difference was that the film wasn't the same. It wasn't the same vibe. It wasn't quite that horror vibe. So if they go back to that, I think it's going to be a really good thing. So that's where I'm going to leave this question off to you guys, because I really do want to know what you guys are thinking about all of this. I want to hear from you on every single one of these topics. Are you excited that they want to get Friday the 13th? Are you excited that they want to get Nightmare on Elm Street? Because both of these, I think, would be good fits, providing that they can get some of the original people, some of the people that have actually done great things with these movies to actually come in and sort of help out. And then also, it really does excite me about the Saw one. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think about them taking over Saw? And then there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre that he says they're not going to get the rights to. He's pretty sure, and we're pretty sure they're not getting the rights to that. So we know kind of what happened there. That's fine, but are you disappointed that they didn't get it? Then there's also the fact that they do have a couple of sequels coming out. Do any of these sequels excite you if you know what these sequels are? And also, you have to think about M3gan. Are you excited about the possibility of M3gan coming back? Do you think that M3gan 2.0 was the end game for M3gan and it just isn't going to be successful anymore? Whatever you guys are thinking, there's no wrong answer. Just make sure you're all nice to each other in the comments. And remember that I want to hear from each and every one of you. So make sure you are dropping me that comment. And then go ahead and share this video with all of your friends so that they can be a part of this crazy conversation we're having. And then don't forget to hit that like button. If you like positive content in your feed, you're going to want to tell the algorithm that you're enjoying positive content. So hit that like button and hopefully more positive content gets to your feed. And then if you're liking our videos, of course, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell that's right next to it so you never miss a single video we do. Because friends, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it. Fandom is family.